Hey everyone, it's Mr. Bologna, and I am here to share a new project with you, and it's about pop art. Enjoy this intro, and I'll talk to you all about it next. Pop, 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 pop. So before I get into the project that we're going to start this week, I wanted to share with you a clip I found from Tate Kids out in the UK. It is great. It explains a lot about what this is, pop art, and then after the video, I will go over what we're gonna do for the week. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Ellie, and these are 4 of my favourite things. Bananas, my red coat, tomato soup, and comic books. But what do they all have in common? 2 little words, pop and art. Pop art is more than an art movement. It's a lifestyle, a craze, a way of looking at the world. But what is pop art? Pop is young, bold, and fun. This is life in the 40s. It's a bit grey. In the 50s, people wanted plastic and glamour. They wanted to have a good time. Buy more, spend more. Don't just watch TV, be on TV. Now you can listen to the Beatles and Elvis, watch cartoons, eat popcorn, drive cars, and become famous. Now it was pop art, all about culture. After all, pop art means popular art, art for all. But who were the pop artists? Richard Hamilton, this guy, said pop art was low cost, young, witty, glamorous, and mass-produced. Hamilton made collages using imagery he found in glossy magazines. Lifting images from films and advertising was completely bonkers at the time. This is one of the famous Marilyn portraits by Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol. This guy. See, a cool guy. For Andy, art was a product, the same as a production line of Coca-Cola bottles or Camel soup. He liked to use bright colours and silk screening techniques to produce art on a huge scale. Pretty clever, I'd say. Pop art was revolutionary! Pop artists were competitive. Who could do what first? Warhol had his advertising. Liechtenstein had his comic books. Palazzi had his collage. And Minnie Mouse. Wait, let's go back to Liechtenstein. He used Band-Aid dots to make his artwork look like comics, like the ones you get in newspapers. Female artists were also rocking the pop art trend. This is The Only Blonde in the World by English painter Pauline Botti. Pauline added fun into her art and was a bit of a rebel. Girl power, Pauline. Pop art came out of the gallery too. Nicola L. took this big red coat around the world to get people to get involved with her performance. This made a real pop crowd, not the celebrity faces in other forms of pop art. Pop art can also be found all over the world. In Iran, Parviz Tanavoli was a sculptor and painter. Like other pop artists, he made his art out of things that looked like they could be thrown away. In New York, Jean-Michel Basquiat remixed it with hip-hop and street art. Pop is on TV, on the radio, and on the internet. Like right now. Does that mean I'm pop art? Well, there's one thing Andy Warhol and I can agree on. I don't know where the artificial stops and the real starts.
Wasn't that cool? I told you, it's a cool little bit about pop art. So let me take you to my art studio, my house, and I'm gonna tell you all about what we're going to do today. So Ellie in the video pointed out many different pop artists during the late 1950s and 60s. The one we're going to focus on for our project is Roy Lichtenstein.
Lichtenstein is considered to be one of the founders of what the pop art movement is all about. He definitely wanted to do something different from what all the other artists were doing during his time. What was it that made Lichtenstein's work truly unique? Well, as you can see from these examples, Lichtenstein would flip through comic books and focus on one of the panels. A panel being the boxes that the drawings are in when you look through a comic book or a comic strip. We'll be talking more about that when you start the first step in the drawing process next week. But for right now, we need to plan. Today, we need to go on a search for the pictures in the comic books, in the comic strips, and even on the internet for the pictures that we might choose for our artwork. When deciding on the pics as an artist, look for these following things: bold lines, bold colors, text, words, bubble letters. It doesn't have to have all of these things, but those would be great things to look for your final work. Does that sound like a good plan?
I'm now in my basement and I'm going to pick a comic book for this art project. Now, you might not have as many comics as I do, and that's okay. You know what there is that you can use? The internet. Google search something, for example, like Snoopy comic, or Calvin and Hobbes comic, or Garfield comic.
Or a manga that you're really into.
Or Spider-Man comic. That is fine. When you find what you want, I would screenshot that and then base your artwork off of that source. Since I have a lot of comic books to choose from,
I'm going to flip through
all of them and then find the right one. This is exciting. It won't take me that long, kids. I know you want to get started. Don't worry. I promise. I will find the one I want to use really, really soon. Ooh, Star Wars? That would be good. No, I might need to go through my Spider-Man collection. Let's go there. Now I'm at my Spider-Man collection. I have in mind one of the early Spider-Man comic books from like the 60s. That would be a great one to choose. Maybe. Okay, this is gonna be difficult. I know I told you just a minute ago to pick one comic source. Maybe share with me 2 to 3, because if it's hard for me to pick just one, then it might be hard for you too. Or maybe not. But I would select 2 to 3 screenshots or a pic of the comic panels that you might use, and that'll be for our activity this week. I think I picked my 3 sources. I really think, students, that the toughest part of this whole project is picking just one.
Right now, your goal is to give yourself a few choices.
I picked a Spider-Man comic book, a Star Wars comic book, and one of my all-time favorite comic strips, Calvin and Hobbes. I selected this page for Calvin and Hobbes
To point out a few things. First, don't pick out a panel like this.
That's way too easy. There's barely anything in it. I mean, yeah, that's a cool looking, well, I don't think it's a moon. I was about to say planet, but really I want you to pick a panel that has text, possibly in a word bubble, maybe even bubble letters like that. That would be a good one to use. but I really want to use one with Calvin. So I might even use this one. You never know. So once you select the first of your three, take a screenshot of this, and then that's one of the examples you're going to share with me on Seesaw. I'm flipping through my Spider-Man comic that I chose. I really want to find a panel. Remember, you are making it bigger and you're focusing on the one panel. I want to pick a panel where it shows both Spider-Man and the Green Goblin, the villain. I might do a bigger version of that. Once you select your second one, take a picture or a screenshot, and then that's what you're gonna send to me as well. Now, on to the Star Wars comic. This, by the way, is the first appearance of the bounty hunters from Empire Strikes Back in comic book form. Here we go. This would be a pretty cool one because it has Darth Vader, Dengar, and Boba Fett. And there's words in a word bubble. That might work. All right, so when you select your third choice, take a picture of this and then send it to me on Seesaw. Well, there you have it, my fellow artists. This is the first part of our pop art project. Pop, pop. Make sure to give your art teacher 2 to 3 examples, pictures of panels that you might want to use. You're going to select one of them to replicate starting next time. If you have any questions, ask your art teacher. They might be right there with you right now, but if you're watching this on your own, they will be happy to help you on Seesaw. Bye, everyone. Pop, 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 pop.